Hello everyone and welcome back to City Skylines. I'm just observing the city from up the top here and I love how it looks. I love how detailed everything is from back here. It really kind of looks like a real city at times. And this place is great. We have renamed this area right here Athlecity. Brilliant name. As soon as I saw that one down there in the comments, that's how I like to name these things. You see different names and then one jumps out at you, and Athlecity was that. I thought that was a brilliant name for this little area, our athletic city. Oh, I do like it. Yes, welcome back to another episode. As always, 2,000 likes for another daily episode tomorrow. Still enjoying this, can't get enough of this game, and in between episodes I've been playing this a fair bit. And in this episode what we're going to do is try and address this issue over here that we have with not enough raw materials, which I think is this one right here. Some of you have been leaving comments talking about this, and I think I understand now how we're going to address that issue. But before we get to that, I got some other things to show you as well. Something really cool. Well, actually it's not cool, it's kind of bad, but yeah, I think I found something in the game that's kind of important that needs to be looked at. So we're going to go over that, and the way that I found it was working on this roundabout like here. Doesn't that look absolutely lovely? Let's go into first person mode. This, we say it over and over again, but this is one of the things I really like about this game. How you can just do things to make them look pretty. It's not all about how the city works. Sometimes it's just about how it looks, and that is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. So let's take a step back here and just take a look at what we've done. Kind of divided up the different sections into different tree colours. Although they're different tree types, the colour I think is the important thing. And then we put some palm trees going down the middle rows like that. And it just looks brilliant. It really does. And the idea for that came from this area over here where we separated some of the land using different tree colours. And I really like that. I kind of wish there were more tree colours. Although, how many shades of like green and yellow can you really have? So yeah. I did that, and I've stumbled across something really important that I want to show you, and I think my game is currently set up to demonstrate this. So we're going to go over here. I'm going to do a little demonstration of what the problem I've found is. If we select some trees and try and place them down, we cannot create any more objects of this type. That's because there is a limit in the game of 250,000 trees, and we have actually reached that. We've got that many in the world. Now there is a mod to upgrade this to 400,000, and apparently it does some other tweaks and changes as well. But the problem that I've discovered here is something I've noticed a while ago, is that if you build roads and buildings across these trees, they don't actually technically disappear. So I've been doing some experiments now that we've reached the limit. So let's build like a road going across here. You see how the trees have disappeared? Let's do that once more so you can see we're actually removing trees like that. So now that those trees are gone, you'd think, hey, we can go and place down a few more, right? Nope, the limit has still been reached, and watch what happens when we destroy this road. The trees reappear. So when you place down the roads, they're actually still there, they're just not being displayed or rendered, which makes me worry because I've spent a lot of time building this city, and look how much land we have covered with buildings and roads. There are probably thousands upon thousands of trees that aren't being rendered that are taking up that cap. And so we reach the cap a lot quicker unless you're, when you build somewhere, do you really want to use the demolish tool and go around like this trying to get every single tree? It's going to be time consuming, it's not going to be a lot of fun, and there's no tool for like bulldozing in an area either. So you're kind of stuck, and I think what they need to do is address that by perhaps making it so when you place down a road it actually removes the trees, and then that way you can use them to do some aesthetic stuff like this. Or maybe they should make a tool that will go around and look at all the roads in your city and remove any trees underneath them. But yeah, that's my thoughts anyway, because that's a bit of an issue now, and we're going to have to install a mod to address that properly, and that probably won't solve the problem of all the trees that are underneath our roads. It's just going to increase the limit. So something to think about right there. And in between doing all of this, I also decided to go around the city and put down more pavements. You'll see them everywhere actually. I've put so many of these down, and they really do seem to make a big difference. If we just look in this area, you can see the traffic isn't quite as bad as before. So let's bring up our traffic meter. I don't want to make this all about traffic, but you'll see now that it's been reduced everywhere really. We've got a few busy roads here and there, but in the most part, our traffic is just, it's really dissipating in this part of the city, which is fantastic to see. Avalon's always been good design right there. And the commercial hub is still struggling. I've got a few ideas for this, but probably going to work on that off camera and show you something if it works well. So it looks like this area isn't doing too good at the moment, although it's not really backed up, it's just a high volume of traffic moving through the area. So anyway, I went around, and I think this is like one of the best tips you could do. I also extended the roads in these areas here. You see there's little bits of space, and I could add extra parks and extra offices and just really maximize the space that we're using. And now I'm trying to think of a place where I put down some paths that I could show you as an example. Like over here there was one going underneath the roundabout. I really like this one. So we connected them up from this bit. These two bits over here is now a path going under the roundabout, sort of in and through it and then down into this area. And you can see a lot of people are using it because these are offices over here, so they can walk from this area straight over to the offices, and that saved a lot of cars going around there, which is really good. So little changes like that make a huge difference, and I really enjoyed going around just looking at my city's layout and just trying to find little bits here, there and everywhere. And I kind of forgotten like most of the ones that I did now, which is really quite bad. I remember adding a path through the middle here, and look, again, a lot of people using it. And it's right next to a bus stop as well, which helps. So you've got to look at it like this. We have tons and tons of offices just over here, and we have loads of houses here. So where are they going to go and work? And there wasn't too many paths that go directly through, so I could probably do with adding another one down here somewhere, couldn't I? In fact, I have. There's one right there. That's good. Good to see. Is that an office building? You see, we don't actually want these smaller ones. They're going to reduce the land value, supposedly. And that has come from word of mouth from the game creators themselves, so I think we can trust that. And yeah, I look for things like this and I replace them with gardens. I think it's that one right there. Yep, look, I'm remembering where they are now. And that'll just help out a little bit, make the area nicer. So I did a whole bunch of that, and it's made a really great difference. And I've been looking to do it in this area as well. But because of the layout that we have and the fact that it's all commercial, there isn't really too much to be done other than these little pathways right here. I think I found an area where I'd sort of forgotten to do it. So maybe a few more of those will make a difference. This is an ongoing project. If you have a look over here, I've added in a slip road at the end there. Also on the opposite side, I've connected both of these roads up. Just doing experiments, and this seems to work quite well just to help alleviate a little bit of traffic in the middle. And yeah, okay, so now what we can do, once we've discussed all of those things, is move on to this topic of today's episode, which is going to be addressing the not enough raw materials thing. And I can't see one of them right now, so I was going to bring it up as an example. We've got lots of, oh there you go, not enough raw materials. We've got a lot of these not enough workers things, which is interesting. If you have a look here, our employment percentage is 97%. So somewhere we need to increase our population, which is probably not what we're going to aim to do today. However, we might be forced to, because I kind of want to do some work on the industry. So anyway, we need raw materials to get to this area, and what I've neglected to see is that this natural resources, this is basically our raw materials. And at the moment, we were doing oil, and I've been keeping my eye on this. You can see that now we've run out of oil, and the trucks keep going back and forth with goods. So I'm not sure what exactly is going on there. They're going to places. Maybe this runs forever like this. I'm not sure. Maybe it runs at sort of a less optimal rate, but we certainly got rid of that oil very quickly. And I've noticed that there is a few mods out there to actually make these resources infinite, which is kind of interesting. So I'm guessing other people are running out as well. But basically, all four of these different types are going to be needed by our industry down here, and it seems like a lot of them can operate without them and you get by, but supposedly if we create all four of these and give them to our industry, they're going to become a lot more profitable, probably more taxable, and it will generate us more money as well. So we want to look at these materials, and I think that this area over here has got the most of what we need. In fact, this section right here would be kind of ideal. We've got oil in the top area, all down the side, fertile land over here, and lots of forest as well. So we could create like an industry, and then what we want the industry to do is to bring stuff over to the cargo bay to then distribute it into our industrial area. And that's going to be a little bit tricky because, as you've seen, we've had problems with banning the traffic. So I got a few comments about this as well. Some people saying that this only works on the highway, or it doesn't work for highways. Well, if we have a look at the district that I've made here, we are trying to ban both a regular road, the slip road things, and also the highway as well, and the traffic just still goes through it like it ain't no thing. So I don't know what to do about that. You can see this guy here has just gone through it. He's returning to the facility of Bob's Plastic Bags, and I don't know. So that might be a major problem, and that's probably going to encourage me to completely separate our cargo bay from to include our cargo bay in this area over here, which will be completely separate from outroads, and quite likely the game's probably going to generate people in that area to build the industries. Alright, so I've been thinking about what separating the areas means, and the biggest problem I can think of is that we need residents to work in this area. But you can see I've kind of marked out where we're going to be working. What I've done is zoned around where the resources are, at least at the bottom here, so all of this area will probably be good for fertile lands, although it'd be interesting to see, you know, there's an obvious patch right there, but would this patch over here or in that corner be any good? And yeah, we've got our ore there and our forest there, and up the top we've got oil. Now, one thing to point out here is that we're not going for aesthetics. This road layout is really ugly, but we need to connect it up to the city, and initially I was thinking about doing something crafty and clever, like having a road system that comes all the way across here and goes into the industry zone and then back out again. So the only way it connects to all of these roads is through the industry, and therefore its destination is the first place it arrives. So with its own dedicated roads, it's not going to add more traffic to the road system we already have. But we also need workers as well. So how would we connect the workers to them? Maybe from like over here. I don't know what that is. Are we going to build a massive bridge? That would look kind of ugly, wouldn't it? Yeah, there's some other logistics to this. Maybe we'll build a small residential area somewhere around there, like a temporary one, and then that will provide this area with workers. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but at least I've hooked up the electricity and the water for now. And we haven't hooked up the road yet. That's something important. I'm probably going to hook it up to this road, maybe? I'm really not sure at the moment. I think actually I should have given it a little bit more thought before recording. So, yeah, let's see what I can do. Alright, so things are magically appearing in this area. I love how that works. All this road is connected up to at the moment is this over here. I decided to move the cargo bay and, is that right? Cargo bay, cargo harbour, can never seem to get that right. And the cargo train terminal over here. And look at this horrible, ghastly scar that it left over here. When I removed it, this thing appeared and I was just like, what is that? That looks really ugly. What an unfortunate bug, but hey. I think we might be able to use this terraforming tool to fix it, but I'm not going to try that right now. What I'm probably going to do is dismantle this industry over here. We've run out of oil. It's also on fire. That's no good. Not a place you want to have fire going at all. So I'm just going to unzone all of this because we're now moving into a different area. So if we look over here, none of this is connected yet. Industries are appearing. Do they have workers? 0, 0, 0, and 0. That makes complete and utter sense. So this one right here was the ore industry. Just realised I forgot to do something very important, and that was to actually zone each of these areas. So we're going to do it strip by strip, but then we need to specialise with this tool down here. So these districts have been given their specialisation. I've since paused the game and done a whole bunch of stuff here. So we now connected this up to the rest of our city through this road over here. And this means that some trucks from this area may go now down through these roads into the industrial area, which is not what we want. We want them to use our cargo train terminal over here. So if they were to ignore this thing and to go through this road, what I'm thinking we'll do is create a direct road that goes all the way over here without attaching to any other roads and goes straight into our industrial area. So that would hopefully make it the quickest route possible, and then our trucks would take that. However, anything else connected to the city would just go the normal way, and they're going to be connected because we need people to move in, we need to get our industry going. And down here I've got a grid formation I saw on the Reddit today. I've modified it slightly, and because of that you can see these roads go further and further across from the paths in the middle of each section, but there's probably a way to do this a little bit better. I just created it temporarily. But what we have here are some one-way roads. So this ring at the top, what direction does it go in? It goes to the left. So this entire road right here goes around in a circle like this, and then each of these roads in between alternate in different directions. So that one goes down, this one goes up, down and up. Then we have a two-way road in the middle, and then we have the same thing at the bottom, except it's going to go in the opposite direction. So this time it goes round to the right like that, and then the alternating roads go down and up, down and up. So if you look at it in terms of traffic, it means that you'll go around in circles. So you've got a circle like this, but if you want to, let's say, go down into this area, then you go off the circle and down, and then there's another circle here like that. However, let's say you want to go over here, all you've got to do is just go down, further down the road, come back around, and then go down like this. But the cool thing with this, I think, is that it creates no traffic lights. You can see there are some signs for the speed limit, but there's no traffic lights inside. So that should mean it's very smooth moving traffic, and over here there is actually traffic lights. That appears to be completely wrong, doesn't it? That's not the right road at all. How How? Oh no, we're looking at the next bit over. Okay, never mind me. So yeah, all of that is correct. Yeah, I was a little confused then, but no traffic lights, which is really cool. So it should mean smooth flowing traffic. And now we just want to think about how much of each different type we put in here. So one of the things I've been thinking about with these layouts is that if we can find a really good layout, which this one appears to be, if we figured out the optimal ratio of residential to offices to commercial, and we could fit them all in the same area, then perhaps we could get everyone walking, because we've got these pedestrian paths here, and if you look, you know, there's a crossing right here. You can pretty much walk from any place to the other, and it'd be a very familiar distance or similar distance to that of the car. So I don't know what that optimal distance is, or sorry, amount is going to be, but we could play a little bit of guessing here. Let's say we go 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2, and we'll mirror that at the top here as well. Actually, let's unpause the game while we do this. Then for commercial, we're going to put in 4 blocks for commercial, and then between all of that, we're going to put in some offices, which is kind of not what we're trying to do here. We're trying to create workers for the industry. So actually, let's take a step back. Let's not do that. That's kind of silly, isn't it? Let's change this one at the ends. Actually, I don't know what I'll do. I'll probably rearrange the entire thing, but we are going to need more workers here. So let's make all of this middle bit residential as well. So now I think it's a case of speeding things up. These industries over here will be changing. And do we see any of the new ones for ore? Is this a ore-specific building? It is. Mining Solutions. And they're operating normally. They just need some workers. Okay, so we're probably going to have to plop down some facilities. But since this is more about how we're going to solve the problem of needing more materials, we're going to focus on that. So I'm probably not going to show you too much of me placing down all of the different things that we need, like fire services and such. And also I've completely, again, forgotten to do the power and the pipes, so I'll get that done as well. Alright, so I started zoning another area over here, and for the longest time I really wanted to get down a layout for gridding that works really well. Put it into a, what do we call it? One of these asset template things, so we can go over here and just continuously plop one down. By the way, we did that in a live stream, and I've actually got a little bit of a setup that we tested that wasn't very good at all, that I could possibly show you if I could find it, if these things had thumbnails. There it is. So you can place that down, and then you can put another one next to it and next to it and create a big grid with that. But unfortunately that wasn't very good, because now we're kind of like extending our city in this area a lot bigger than I thought, and I would rather have done a planned out area. But to do these videos daily, so just kind of gotta get on with it, so to speak. So we've expanded down here. I'm using a similar grid system with one-way roads. It seems to be doing its thing quite well. And I'm waiting for enough people to move in. I put in some commercial buildings, which might have been a mistake. Although there's high demand, they need workers too. So kind of waiting for this thing to fill up. Put in a few bus lines and public services. And at the moment, it's just a very small, undeveloped area. But we're not generating enough people for these industries. Although, saying that, you can see here, this one's got 10 out of 18. 13 out of 24. They're not full up, but they have some, so it's going in the right direction, but I'm yet to really see where the traffic from these is going. You can see there's lots of lorries and cars going up and down here, so I think now is the time to start analysing what's going on. But there's absolutely nothing up here in oil, and I don't know why, because we unzoned our other oil area, and now it's just kind of, yeah, not doing anything. And we've got 2 small areas down here. This one as well, just not enough workers, so hopefully we'll get all of those going. But as I said, I think it's now time to analyse the traffic, see where it's going. I haven't checked up on this area. We can see not enough workers everywhere. I think we need more people in our city big time. And this has gotten worse around here since we've expanded in that other area, which is interesting. So maybe in order for us to solve this problem, we kind of need a new residential area. But so far, I can't actually see the raw materials. We've got one of them over here, I think. And our income hasn't shot up in a way that would suggest that what we're creating here is creating more money for us. But this needs to be a lot bigger. And at this point, I'm thinking this might be a kind of 2-part adventure, because developing the city is slow, even when you're on the 3rd speed. You do have to give things time for people to move in and for things to develop. Hey, I found a problem. I was looking at this earlier, and I was thinking that is the worst junction ever. Let's give this something proper. Let's just take a highway ramp from here and connect it like that, and perhaps another one from here to there if we destroy these horrible little highway ramps that we've built. Oh, that was such a bad junction. And yeah, I foresaw that we'd have to upgrade it at some point, but look how far it's backed up. It's gone all the way over there. And analysing the traffic is actually a little bit tricky because there's just so many things to click on, and when you click on it, all you get given is names. So you've got to kind of either estimate, oh wow, this traffic has just piled into the area. So I've been upgrading the roads because the traffic's getting a little bit crazy, and I didn't notice how crazy it was here. So no one's using that one yet, and we can force them to do so like this. So that's our exit, that's our on-ramp, and now they should start using it. They're going to go around the full way. They are. They're all going around the full way, and they haven't yet seen the turning off here. It's interesting. There we go. Now they're starting to come through. Okay, so the traffic here could be a bit of a problem. We've got to keep an eye on it. I didn't expect this to be so difficult. I kind of forgot about the whole workers deal. And now you can see actually we've provided enough workers for all of these industries. Still nothing going on at oil. Not really sure why. I've even sent some buses up there because we want to get workers in. And I've been slowly expanding this. And I'm a little bit annoyed because I never planned on doing this. And next time I wanted to do a district, I wanted to do something interesting, get a really efficient layout and kind of have the whole plan together. But I don't think that's really going to be possible. So things seem okay. Traffic's getting pretty thick. Probably need to upgrade the roads and figure things out a little bit. But at least now we have people working here. And if we go down to this road, you can see lots of trucks are going in. And if you have a look at where it says it's delivering to, it says Ice Cube Factory. It's come from the steelworks. That's the ore district. It's an ore truck as well. That's another way to identify them. And there you go. It's actually going to go in there, but it's going to tell us where its destination is. So what we have to do is look at the trucks that come down here. And they're all kind of like rainbow colour thing going on right here as well. So it's a forestry truck. It's an ore truck. Are these actually colour coded? That would be amazing. Ore truck is green. Tractor is brighter green and a blue. I think it's actually random. Let's see. So ore truck, tractor, forestry. So another problem we kind of done here is, again, the quick zoning of this area. We probably should have put this over here so that these guys could have had like a direct route down here. And that's something we'll probably add. We'll probably play around with the roads and get something like that going. It shouldn't be too difficult. Anyway, if we have a look at our outbound traffic, which isn't a lot, we can see garbage trucks are going out. That's kind of annoying because they should be localized really. But mainly it's just cars. So let's see. Going to business planning company. So they're going to work in an office. Interesting stuff. I've built no education over in this area. So anyone leaving the area shouldn't really have an educated job. You are going to a shop over here, so they're sort of heading all the way into this area. For what reason they were over here, I do not know. Maybe they've actually travelled that far to work, which is not what I wanted. You know, it might be reasonable to set up a metro that comes over here to bring workers in. Okay, so to solve the problem, what I'm looking at here is adding a kind of primitive road that goes alongside here that's just for traffic that's going down to our cargo harbour. But now that I look at it, the main thing here is that we're redirecting a lot of traffic down to this facility and not a lot of traffic goes between these two. So what we might actually be smarter to do is to remove this big road and actually put our terminal here somewhere around there. Then we have some direct roads that lead back and forth across the terminal through the middle of this area, and then we have a little slip road that comes up to that from the harbour. So that will probably be the smarter way to do it to get the trucks going back and forth. The problem with this as well, by the way, is that we're using the 6-lane road. What we really need is 2 highways going back and forth so that the cars can connect without the traffic lights, which is causing a lot of traffic issues. And again, loads of traffic here. Completely jumped into this unprepared. Kind of annoyed with that. I've made that very clear, haven't I? And the traffic backs up so far now, it is ridiculous. We're having trouble getting them off of this ramp because they're going straight onto an intersection, which is no good. So another little adjustment we need to make here. Guess what? We just had a crash. This is the last save game that I had. Bear in mind, I made a save game when we had a crash, but that didn't seem to work because the crash was very strange. The city was running. I could change the speed like this. I could pause. I could look around, move around, no problems. But everything in the city was just completely dead still. It just stopped. As soon as I saw it, I went, that looks really strange. And yeah, that was kind of it. And I just finished solving some of those problems. I built a highway going across here. We had the train station or the cargo thing over here, and it was connected up. And it started to look like it was going to work the way I wanted it to work. But essentially what we did here is jump forward into something that needed to be bigger than I thought it would. I really did think it would be zone a few industrial areas, build a few houses, and then we'd have loads of goods going over into this area. But actually we kind of need to build an entirely new ecosystem over here. So I feel like we jumped into that a little too quick. And maybe we should take our time with this, maybe do some other projects as well, you know, jump between two different things at the same time could be fun. But this throwback does feel like a blessing in disguise. It really jumped too far ahead of myself, and now I can put more time and planning into it, knowing that we need to really think about what's going on in this area. And yeah, so that's where my save has taken us. That means next episode we'll probably focus on doing a few other things as well as this, and I'm hoping to rebuild this correctly and do a much better job of it. So that is actually going to be it from me this episode. It's unfortunate, but the rollback I do believe is a blessing in disguise. So as always, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do leave a like, and I will catch you in the next episode.